What's going on tonight?
We're just having an argument
About what?
about our fucking life.
Okay, what happened?
It's our life. It's destroyed.
Nashville confirmed ex-NFL quarterback Steve McNair was murdered by his girlfriend, who then shot and killed herself. Yesterday, police released video of the girlfriend who was pulled over and arrested for drunk driving.
Married Tyreek Hill has fathered kids with 3 different women in the space of 4 months.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe.
Hey everybody, welcome to Talk My Ish, and today we're going to do a deep dive into one of the most intriguing stories and concepts that transcend sports. And today we are going to use some sports related figures as examples, but we're going to step outside of the sports arena and we're going to talk about a societal concept that impacts many aspects of our lives, and no one is immune to this, and the idea of being blue-pilled. Now, couple things. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on so you do not miss out on any future videos. Blue-pilled at childhood. So what does it mean to be blue-pilled? The term originates from the 1999 film The Matrix, where essentially taking the blue pill allows you to remain in a comfortable, fabricated reality, while taking the opposite, taking the red pill means waking up to the harsh truths and reality of the real world. In today's context, being blue pill refers to someone who accepts the mainstream societal norms and beliefs without questioning them. Many believe that from birth, men are conditioned to adopt a blue pill perspective. This conditioning influences our views on relationships, success, and the roles that they play into society. So now I'm going to provide some examples, and these examples will reinforce my observation into believing that from our birth ages we were indoctrinated to basically being blue pill. So let's talk about early on childhood and education. So from a young age, boys are taught to follow rules, be obedient, and conform to the expectations set by parents, teachers, and society as a whole. In school, we're often encouraged to be passive learners, absorbing information rather than questioning or challenging it. So remember, the saying, ignorance is bliss, not questioning things, not critically thinking, that not doing that really, again, reinforces the blue pill ideology. Now, here's another example. So I remember being a kid or being a boy, and I was told you need to be nice, you need to share, and I didn't have an understanding of when it's appropriate to say no. I didn't understand at a younger age how to set boundaries, and so being so available all the time and always saying yes and conforming to others, that can lead you to a mindset where you prioritize others versus prioritizing what's best for you. Now, in media and pop culture, you gotta look at TV shows, movies, advertisements. They often depict idealized versions of relationships and success. Men are shown that they need to be perfect in terms of providing. They need to be a rescuer, and they also need to be this romantic type of guy. In other words, we got to be every single thing and a bag of chips in order to be considered a high profile or high value man. Now, to further reinforce things, because we often use mainstream media and whatnot in terms of being entertained and what we learn, take a romantic comedy, for instance. They frequently will portray men. They will go to great lengths to win a woman over. They will sacrifice their own dreams and desires in the process. Again, this reinforces the idea that a man's worth is tied to his ability to fulfill traditional roles and please others, aka essentially being a blue pill or being a simp. I prefer the aforementioned term of blue pill. Case 1, Croy Biermann. So now that you understand what blue pill is, we're going to talk about 3 cases And in the first case, I want to talk about Kroy Biermann, and he's the man who put family above all else. Now, he's a former NFL player. He was widely known in his relationship with Kim Zolciak on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And he's a classic example or cautionary tale of a man that embraced this blue pill ideology, and he believed that family should come before any and everything else at the cost of his own identity and of his career. Now, as you know, they got married. There was an infatuation. There was probably this whirlwind relationship, and he quickly became enraptured with Kim, and they tied the knot. He became the primary caregiver to children that were not his own, so they were stepchildren. And not only that, he stepped away from his football career and he started a family. Now, it looks on paper, it looks like it's noble. It looks as if, he's making a sound decision, that he's kicked the tires, that he's turned and listened to the engine. He's done all those things, but looks will always be deceiving. Looks will always be deceiving. So it led to significant changes in his career. And then he put himself on the back seat. So then he found himself so entrenched, so deeply involved in a ton of drama and pressures of reality TV. Because of reality TV, you have to keep up this persona. You have to fake it till you make it. You constantly have all these cameras in your face and you don't have any privacy. And so as with fame comes fortune, and sometimes too much fame and too much fortune and too quickly. And if you don't have that sound mind or sound foundation, you're going to have financial troubles. So over time, they faced all these financial difficulties. There were reports of unpaid debts, strained finances. Kroy's identity became so intertwined in his family and his role with being this reality TV star that he, to me, appeared to lose his ambitions and his self-worth. And it's all because of his blue pill mindset, because he sacrificed his family for his own growth and development. And then he struggled to really try to get his footing professionally and on a personal level. And so Kroy's experience is a cautionary tale. It's the dangers of sacrificing your career, sacrificing your personal goals for the sake of the wrong woman. Now, I'm not against if it's the right woman, but if it's the wrong woman, you'll see the type of stress and struggles that come with it. And so that's super important. As if you are any man, you need to make sure that you vet the woman that you are with, and you have to vet her all. I mean, you got to be almost like, I used to be in the military, and you have to have this, some people get the top secret clearance. Well, they research everything and check every single thing before they give you that clearance. And that's how scrutinous you have to be.
Case number 2, Tyreek Hill.
Next up, we have case number 2, and this is Tyreek Hill, and we all know who Tyreek Hill, and he is the man trapped in a troubled relationship. So he's known for his incredible talent on the field, but he also has this troubled personal life. And I believe that his story highlights the dangers of staying in toxic relationships because of societal pressures, and more importantly, because you have a blue pill mindset. Now, Hill has been with the mother of his children, Crystal, and that relationship has been toxic, to say the least. It's been marred with incidents of domestic violence, with child protective services being called, and just ongoing turmoil. And Tyreek Hill, I think, because he has this blue pill mindset, he's lacking situational awareness and self-awareness, and he remains in this relationship. And matter of fact, they're married now, and perhaps he's thinking from the mindset of trying to maintain a traditional family to avoid additional scrutiny in the public. But his blue pill mentality, to me, is suggesting that he's keeping the family together for the sake of, I guess, balance, or trying to avoid further dysfunction. And I also think that it might have something to do with financial implications, although he is super wealthy. Now, his decision to stay has led to all these repercussions. Remember, when you stay in something that is toxic, when you stay in something that is counterproductive, you are going to suffer in many, many different ways. And so his reputation took a major hit. And so if you all remember the incidents with child protective services, other domestic violence incidents, he's fortunate to even be playing in the NFL today, because I'll call it the Ray Rice rule. When Ray Rice was involved in his incident, Ray Rice, in my opinion, he got railroaded, and he lost his ability to play. And it's a lot of preferential treatment going on in NFL because the NFL is all about money. And so if you're a winner, if you have the ability to entertain folks and do those type of things, they're going to keep you because you putting asses in the seats and you are helping with these TV deals and this streaming and all this stuff. And I think this is why Tyreek Hill is still playing, because in no way, shape, or form should you engage in domestic violence with any female. If it gets to a certain point, you had the ability to leave and let things cool off. If it continues to happen, that's your sign from the universe that, hey, you need to be gone. Y'all are not meant to be together. It's just common sense. And so blue pill makes us oblivious or ignorant to a certain extent, because we'll put purpose or put pleasure before purpose. And that's, I think, what's going on with Tyreek. Not only that, he has other children, and I believe he's had these kids or conceived these children while still being married. So he has all these love children out here. And let me say this, that, it's not my D, right? No homo, no diddy, but for the sake of the children, your presence is more important than child support payments. You need to be there to raise them up. If it's a girl, she wants to go through her sweet 16 or may have some type of issue where you can help her navigate. If it's a boy, you want to go and throw the ball to him or take him fishing or do something that is male bonded and then father-daughter bonded. How can you do that when you have all these other kids everywhere else and it's only one of you? So that's, the children become the real victims of messy situations like this. And that's all comes from having a blue pill mindset. So, his story serves as a warning, and please be careful, men, with where you sow your oats, and more importantly, where you plant your seeds, because a lot of us, we don't have Tyreek money. And so child support can really have you stretched out and have you stretched thin and have you in a box to where you can't do the things you want to do because you wanted to, was thinking with the head below instead of thinking with the head above.
Case 3, Steve McNair.
Lastly, we have case 3, and this is of Steve McNair. And Steve McNair is the man who paid the ultimate price. Now, Steve McNair is this accomplished NFL MVP or co-MVP, former NFL quarterback who his life ended in a very, very tragic incident that was, in my opinion, very complex and a very dangerous relationship. Infidelity is like playing Russian roulette, which is basically the game where you have a revolver and you put a single bullet in one of the chambers of the revolver. And then, the participants basically take the gun, put it to their forehead, and they click it. And whoever wins, they win or they keep their lives. Whoever loses will eventually die if you go through all the progressions of the game. Now, his story is a stark reminder of the ultimate risk that's associated with blue pill thinking, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. So, McNair, again, had stability at home, had a beautiful wife, had a beautiful family, and had a beautiful upbringing. In my opinion, Steve McNair was a traditional man with a traditional upbringing and had a traditional family, and that family looked as if they had a lot of stability and love, and that's what most people want, or everybody wants. You want a domestically blissful life at home that's full of peace and relaxation, and it allows you to be the best version of yourself. Now, again, he's married and he became involved in an extramarital affair with a young lady by the name of Sazelle Kazemi. And so despite the clear risk, number one, if your wife finds out, she more than likely gonna leave you. Then number two, your public reputation. And then also, I'm gonna say these in no particular order. You have a covenant with God or whoever your deity is, number one, based off of the principles of marriage. Then the financial implications of a divorce, and then the public scrutiny. People know you married and you out creeping, and trust me, wherever you at, people gonna see you. You think you're not being watched, but you're being watched. And that's all red flags. That's all clear risk. In my opinion, it's not worth the risk. So McNair gambled. He thought that he could have his cake and eat it too. And he actually did in a sense. We don't know how long the relationship or situationship or the infidelity was going on, but his blue pill mindset, I guess it was maybe the novelty of having something new, because sometimes, people are creatures of habit, but then it becomes mundane or it becomes boring for whatever reason. Let me tell y'all something about excitement. As you get older, you are going to want to have consistency. You're going to want to have, I'm going to say boring. Boring's good because it's not dramaed out. It's not toxic. It's not expanding all this energy, having all this emotional overhead because you keep chasing somebody who's trying to get away from you or they're not being straight with you. And so perhaps Steve was having a midlife crisis. He decided that he was going to go be with this woman. There are pictures of them on these vacations. So you telling your wife that, hey, I'm going to go on a business trip, and you actually having a vacation and you have pictures. And so I know it has to hurt. It has to infuriate you, but probably more hurt than being angry. So the situation is already out of control because you don't know the mental capacity of people today, especially in certain situations. So Kazemi looks like she was becoming more unraveled because more than likely she gave Steve and told Steve, hey, you need to leave your wife. You can be with me. I'll give you babies. We can have a family. She got used to the lifestyle and she wasn't willing to let him go. And on the night of, I believe, July the 4th in 2009 or July 3rd, at some point, they retreated back to basically a condo, or that was more like his enclave where he probably had sexual trysts with her and probably some other women, but we'll just keep it as clean as we can keep it with Kazemi. And Steve just knocked out, drunk, sleeping it off, and she stood over him and diabolically shot and killed him. And then not only that, she shot and killed herself. And so a relative or a friend found Steve, and I remember hearing the news and just being dumbfounded. My mouth kind of dropped because I just was in so disbelief because, sports figures are usually polarizing or just the hype from the media and all these different things. And we always think that, he wouldn't do that, or that he wasn't involved in that, or she wasn't involved in that. But it turns out that he was involved in an extramarital affair and it cost him his life. And so he is the ultimate cautionary tale of that you have to be careful. It could have been the other way around because Zemi could have had a crazy, unstable ex-boyfriend who was jealous of their relationship or their affair and came in and killed both of them and then killed himself. So it just proves that things are not worth it. When you are blessed, when you have the things you need, be grateful, be thankful, and do not venture out. So now that we've gone over all three cases, now I want to tie this up, and I want to bring this final piece of context to it. And we're going to talk about the summary of these three cautionary tales. Case 1, Kroy Biermann. Here's the issue. He sacrificed his career and his identity for family, leading to financial and personal struggles. Consequence, he lost his sense of self. He faced significant challenges in regaining his professional footing. To this day, I'm not even sure if they're divorced or not because they keep going back and forth with they're done and then they're not done and then they're done. And in my opinion, Kim has Kroy with a double mind, and remember, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. We move on to Tyreek Hill. His issue, he stayed in a toxic relationship due to societal pressures. He damaged his reputation. Not only that, he also, sounds like to me, reluctantly got married, and then he still was sowing his oats, and now he has all these love children. I won't ever call a child illegitimate because they're here, but he has all these love children with all these different women in such a short time frame. That shows, number one, that he don't have ick control. I'll just take the D out of it, but he don't have D control. And then his consequences, his career, his public image. Although a great football player, it appears that his personal life is just not, it's to be desired. That there's a lot of growth and development that's needed, and in my opinion, he needs a intervention. The only reason people are not really blasting him as much is because he's a winner, and when you're a winner, you can get away with a lot of stuff. The third and final case, which is a somber, a sad case, was Steve McNair. Steve lived a double life. He underestimated the risk of his affair, which led to a tragic ending. Of course, we all have eyes, we have desires, we have lust, but I'm gonna just say this real quick, and because what's done is done, and so I'm not judging Steve, but what's done is done. And the fact that he was married, he had a beautiful wife, he had a complete family. A lot of people desire and covet that. Some people broke and want that, some people rich and want that, but they don't have that, they have dysfunction. Steve appeared to have stability at home, and that wasn't enough for him. And so he went out and he met this young lady, this waitress. And then not only that, he dated her, and she was just, to be frank, batshit crazy. And she killed him because she realized that he wasn't going to go along with her program. She probably wanted that baby. She probably wanted more than what he was giving her. And she decided that if I can't have him, then nobody will. So she took him away from his wife and from his children. And so his consequence is his life ended in a murder-suicide. And his tale is super cautionary because it highlights the ultimate dangers of having a blue pill mindset. Infidelity is a blue pill mindset because you don't have control over your inner desires. So if you enjoyed this, if it was beneficial to you, I ask that you like, share, and subscribe. This is Talk My Ish. See y'all on the next video. I'm out.